Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're in the next part of our Shadesmar big scene building tutorial series. We've done the main body and the hand and also the head. And so now what we need to do is do the general supporting assets, which is kind of the more like environmental assets. And so in order to do that, we're gonna need to make a system, a geonode system to kind of make the spheres feel like they are like kind of this like particle wave system. That's what we're gonna build today, is this particle wave system, because in Shadesmar there's this sea of beads. And the sea of beads can be easily seen as a particle wave system. Bead geonode, this right here, slash, you can see it, fantastic. And center it on our screen, great. And we're gonna call this bead geonode system, here we are. We have it ready to work with it. We have our geometry and we're gonna distribute points on the surface. Fantastic, increase the density. Maybe make it like 200. Poisson disk. Density max, let's say 0.02. And that will be the radius of, oops, no, it should be 200. Distance min 0.02. Let's make this like 600. Nice, so we have the points distributed on the face. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to set position them to move the points themselves. So we're going to do this, and we're just gonna scatter them out a little bit bigger. So we're gonna do a noise texture, offset it here, and click normalize. And now they're moving up and down. So now we're kind of getting this large cloud of points. That's what we're going for, and that's what we want it to be. So then it could be too many points overall. So let's just lower the overall scale of this kind of going back and forth so we can keep it locked. I think it's just going to be on the z-axis is what we care about. And maybe so we can do is do vector math. This and this, and then we can say multiply 1. Now we're seeing them all over the place. And we can say like 0.1, 0.1, and 0.1. So now they're moving just a little bit. Maybe 0.2. So they're spreading a little bit, but not too much. So it's still kind of in the bounds of everything. And then also too, we might want to delete some of these overlapping points, so that way we don't have them mess with the overall look of everything. We also can decrease the scale. But here, look at this. So the scale is really low like this. We're almost having like an ocean look. We have the 4D noise, and it's looking like a wave of water going through. But we're gonna first have an amount of high turbulence to kind of scatter them all and make it a bit much harder to see in terms of overall single points, and have it less of a clean membrane between everything. So that's what I want to do. So maybe we can also lower the density too. Yeah, maybe even less. There we go. That will run a lot lighter too on the computer as well. And then we're going to do a merge by distance. And then we're going to just increase this a little bit. Nice. So now if the points are just like right on top of each other, they are deleted. 0.15, 0.13. That looks better. So they're close, but they're not too close. Good. 0.5. Nice. I'm happy with it so now, like so far right now. So we basically have just now scattered the points along a plane and kind of added some noise to make it look a bit more uneven. So now if we were to increase this, so we could say scale 10, oof, and apply scale, we now have all of these points here, right? That's a lot of points. And so then what we can do is use another set position back here after we've merged some of them and deleted them. If we don't have it, if we mute this, right, it's way too many points. It goes to 200K, right? So that removes like 150,000 points, which is going to be really good to have it run a lot faster. Cool. So we have this. And then now what we can do is we can take all of these points and move them based off of like a noise texture and also a wave texture. So let's first pull in the wave texture. So we're gonna do a wave texture here, and we're gonna take this and put it in the offset. I think we're gonna do rings. Let's see how this looks. Spherical, rings, bands, and let's make this scale even less, like 0.1. So now it's all moving away in that same direction. And we're gonna do another combine, or say a multiply. You want it to just be in the Z, up and down on the Z. So we do the faves offsets. And a really quick way of keeping density high while you're working with it, like in terms of rendering, but low in terms of viewport. So you go Shift A, switch, and then if it is false, so viewport. So if we're in the viewport, which would then be true, I guess we could say 200 and false like this. That's the other way around. So we should say 220. If we do F12 on this, which I don't know if we'll see it because we don't have it. Yes, we are getting the higher resolution of points, which is good. Let's, rather than have it be a saw wave, which has a hard fall off, let's change this back to a sine wave. So what I'm imagining is we'll have a scene where we have these points in a big C, and that's going to be part of the animation, is having these kind of move slowly with time. So we can add this motion right here with another one. So we'll say this, and we'll say add, and we're going to do a noise texture. I guess normalize that noise. And we can add it back here, actually, and pop it in. So then if this is coming, like 0.1, and we have this scaled up, so we can do this here, turn it to scale, pipe it in. I don't like this normalized, so let's turn off that normalize. It's too messy. And let's just delete by 0.5. Subtract. Now let's see. Kind of trippy motion of combining two of these things. So one is just the general noise texture of the wave, which is kind of expected to be consistent, at least in terms of how this will look, kind of looking like a wave overall. And then it will look even stranger by having this be the phase, because this is kind of a more unnatural notion of having this very pronounced kind of ring wave texture, which is not really expected. So we'll be kind of combining both of these motions to kind of make this feeling of trippy, kind of like very strange, otherworldly experience. So we have this, and then what we want to do is then say instance on points. Then we're going to instance in icosphere, and it's subdivided 2 times, maybe not. The radius should be like 0.1, and we should say shade auto smooth, and then we're going to set the material of this. So set material, go into shading, make a new material, and we'll say beads. And we're going to go back to GeoNodes, we're going to say beads, go back to shading, and then we're going to do a glass material. So we're going to do a glass, we're going to do 3 of them, so we can do that OIR trick to make it really cool. So we're going to do a math node, a value, and we're going to pop this in here by like 0.1, increase it 1.5, and then this one will be decreased by 0.1, minus 0.1. And we're going to add all these together, add shader, like this. Nice. So now it's figuring out how the shader will look. And then we're going to make sure we do RGB, so green, red, blue. Make sure we turn on ray tracing. And then for the material, For the beads, we need to turn on ray trace transmission. And it should be good now. Is it not working? There we go. We got to lower the IOR. Lower that a lot. 0.3. Oh, this is going in the roughness. That's why. It should go here. 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 Perfect. And I'm just playing with this to have it have this kind of like inner world bead. So about 0.7 is looking kind of good. Nice. I think it's looking pretty good. I think we also want to change the scale of them. So let's do a random value. And let's start working on this to make it look a little bit better. So the scale should go like this. And we should do like 0.5 to 1. So all of the beads are not all exactly the same. And then let's add that motion we were talking about before. So we want to do that with the scene time. And we can use that for the wave texture. So if you know the scale of the wave texture is this, let's just see. So we want to do a scene time frame divided by, we know the total frames, which is 360. We've increased the animation time. And then we put this in a float curve. This will be multiplied by tau divided by 10. Does that work? So it's just tau. Then that'll be 1. Could even be a bit faster. But let's just see. So we're going to have this noise and this noise. And they're both going to be going up. So we're going to say this is going to go to math, add. And this one's going to be going to, say, -10. And then what we can then do is mix them. So mix like this and the vector. And this could come in. That can pop in. And then these are going to be mixed with this doing the scale. And it should work. It's an extra wave. I think it's a little bit too slow. This could be happening a bit faster. So let's do, this needs to be also 2. So then these will then be multiplied by 10. So this is off by 10. This is -10 here. Perfect. This is, nope. Boom. This is multiplied by 10. Which is going to be the same value as this. So we can combine these to be the same value. And I think this could be a bit faster overall. So what we could maybe do is just take all of this, made a modulo, truncated modulo, perfect. Pipe this in, we'll say 1. Let's make this happen in 180. So it'll loop twice in 360. And then this should be coming in as a minus. So here, multiply, -1. Let's see now. There we go. Now we got it scaled correctly. Yeah, so now we have our system done for the beads. And we got to move into the next system. This one will be much more fast. It's just going to be a mesh, cube. Let's call this like shattered ground. Subdivision surface modifier on it. And then we're going to do another modifier stack to make it really quick. We're going to do search, decimate. And I think we're going to do planar maybe, or unsubdivide. We'll do like 1 or 2 times, maybe 2 times. So we take this in, and then we can use this system to just to make our earth look however we want. We're going to extrude this out. And then this is going to be the easy way of playing with it. And if we try planar, how does this look? Collapse. Maybe collapse is a bit better, actually. Let's collapse like this. We can even say triangulate. Yeah. That looks good. And so then with this, it's literally just that straightforward. We will have these kind of hard geometric shapes pretty easily. And then the material will be doing most of the work. So if we go back out of it, if we want to have this scene, perhaps we want to have this like this, maybe something like that. And then the material is the main part. So shading here, new, like Obsidian. And then this will just be black or really dark purple like this. Very reflective. And then we can have some scratches and different things. Maybe we make it dark red like this. And then if we go like here, blah, we're getting that. And then let's do another one. And let's do hybrid multifractal, right? Yes. This pipe's like this. It should work. And then this should come from object. Nice. Something like this. Nice. And then this can go into the roughness too. So we can then do a map range. And this roughness value, you want to have it be really low. Something like 0 to like 0.1. Let's see how that looks. Can we even tell the difference? From like 1. Yeah. So it's up from 0 to like this maybe. And that will look nice and good. And then we also wanted to have the color impact it. So we'll put it into the diffuse color. So we'll do a color ramp. Nice, here we go. In the color, I'm going to crunch it. Something like this. And then this should be like a purple, a dark purple, a tiny bit of color. Also a purple. Nice. Nice. Saturation's pulled down. The color's looking okay. We also want to do the bump. That's going to be the main thing of how to get this material to look correct. So then we can then do a bump node. Take this, pipe it into the normal, and then color ramp. Let's take this. Why is this not? There we go. Now it's working a bit better. And then we want to get the rings to go inside. So if we pop this into here, nice, we're getting these rings. Looks good. Now let's see on the surface. Nice, we're getting these shiny rings. It's looking pretty good. So in order to get this kind of ring look, what we're doing is we're combining two different noise textures. One's the hybrid multifractal with kind of this look, piping that into the vector, which is here. And then we're gonna get this nice kind of like ringed look with the other noise texture. And that going into the bump node will make sure we have this normal data piping out how we want it to see. With it being nice and shiny and wet, it looks like we're getting in the right direction. It could be too much, so we could pull it back a little bit, maybe like here. So now it looks like it's a rock that is kind of trippy and different. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope to see you in the next one where we do more of a scene setup.
Augury.